.1 AM 1330.
Presented in part by Gross & Schuster, Attorney at Law.
As a single mom here in Santa Rosa County, I'm voting for the penny tax because my son will have a better community to grow up in. From the YMCA and parks to recreation and bike paths, he will have a safe place to be a boy. For a safe and fun childhood for your kids and mine, please vote for the penny on October 8th. This penny will replace the current half-penny tax and will end in 10 years. Please vote for the penny on October 8th.
Political ad paid for by Moving Santa Rosa Forward.
Football season has arrived, and ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM is where the action is. Bringing your high school football every Friday night, UWF football on Saturdays, and the NFL on Sundays. If you would like to partner with ESPN Pensacola as a sponsor or promotional partner, give us a call at 262-6000.
ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM. WEBY Milton, Pensacola.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola.
Happy Monday. Welcome into the program, ESPN Pensacola 1330 99.1 FM. I'm Joe Ford. He's the legendary Coach K. Stevenson, joining us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, every single weekday to break down all of the news and notes from around the world of high school, college, and professional football. Glad you're making time out of your day to be with us here and recap what was a wild, crazy, busy weekend in college and in the NFL, and a lot of big news items to get to, especially in the NFL, as the landscape of the AFC, we would think, is already, after week 2, down to 2 teams, the Chiefs and the Patriots. Devastating news out of Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger will be out for the rest of the regular season, and also the New Orleans Saints are going to have to cope without Drew Brees for at least a month. Looks like about a month and a half. Coach, how are you today? And Coach, sorry about that. How are you? There we go. We got the right mic. It changes every week.
Okay. No, we're doing great. Great weekend for football. A lot of surprises and a number of things that jumped to light here early on, Joe. So yeah, every week's going to be a great one.
It is. And let's start here. The Pittsburgh Steelers, perhaps surprisingly, 0-2 on the season, and now Ben Roethlisberger will have season-ending elbow surgery. This news broke about an hour ago here. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, a tough loss against the Seattle Seahawks. Many thought that would be a type of a rebound for the Steelers. Ended up not being so, as the Seahawks were able to get to Pittsburgh. Really impressive win for the Seahawks. Historically, they don't do so hot and traveling over to the East Coast, especially in those noon window of games, but the Seahawks got the job done. But Ben Roethlisberger will be out for the rest of the season, so a big blow to a team already without the services of Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, James Conner also hurt yesterday too, so season unraveling pretty quickly here for Pittsburgh.
Well, yeah, the loss of talent just in the last few months for the Pittsburgh Steelers is just devastating, and you can't get over that quickly. I mean, it's going to take some time. Now, there's certain things they can do to mitigate and to still play competitively. That's the main thing they've got to do, and bring those young kids along, playing the type football they want them to play, getting ready for the future. But that's the way they have to look at it.
And it's a new week, and bad news continues for the New Orleans Saints. Believe it or not, another bad call that took away a touchdown off the board. The New Orleans Saints, though, losing to the Los Angeles Rams. Drew Brees out. Looking at the ESPN feed right now, expected to miss 6 weeks, according to Chris Mortensen. So the Saints, who were on everybody's short list of contenders out of the NFC, now having to do without Drew Brees, although their backup quarterback situation is probably a little bit more solid than most teams do with Teddy Bridgewater, and they also have Taysom Hill, who can certainly provide a spark offensively. But this was not planned at all, and quarterback injuries never are, but they do happen. And how does Sean Payton go about it? Because the offense fundamentally is going to change here, and everybody's going to be impacted, right?
Yeah. This is devastating. Losing a quarterback like Drew Brees, how would you ever, if you had a chance, you had a football team, you got to put everything in perspective. You say you can go get a quarterback that is going to be a Hall of Famer, and he's going to play at the highest level, and you've got him, and all of a sudden you've got everything planned around him. You're doing well. Your football team is dependent on him, and now you don't have him. Think about the devastation that creates. Now, I really think they need to look at this Hill. I thought Hill was the guy they were bringing along to maybe be the first backup, but I think they've got to take a look at him, and they've got to make some accommodation for lack of Drew Brees, which means you are right. They are going to have to change their MO to accommodate for this.
And before we go on any more, the number, if you want to weigh in today, 623-1330. Want to highlight one of our sponsors right now, Calvert's in the Heights. They are providing us some gift certificates to give away, and how we're going to do that is by doing a weekly pick'em contest. So here's how it's going to work this week. We have posted on our Facebook page, ESPN Pensacola, a total of 8 games, 4 in college, 4 in the NFL. So on that post, all you have to do is just list the teams there that you think are going to win. And for one of the featured games there, we're asking you to include a final score, and that is known on the Facebook post there. This week's slate of games, which you'll be picking: Louisville, Florida State; Michigan at Wisconsin; Auburn at Texas A&M; and Notre Dame at Georgia. Those are the 4 college games, and for the Notre Dame and Georgia game, we're asking that you include the final score as a tiebreaker, and then the Ravens at Chiefs, Falcons at Colts, Texans at Chargers, and Rams at Browns. Those are the 4 NFL games as well. So go to our Facebook page, ESPN Pensacola. You will see the post pinned to the top of the page there, so just make your picks. And all entries we're asking to be in by 6 o'clock this coming Friday, but this is something that we'll be reminding you about throughout the week. So pretty easy way if you're an elite football prognosticator to win yourself a $25 gift card or gift certificate to Calvert's in the Heights. So that's on our Facebook page, ESPN Pensacola. So hop on there and make your picks.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting, and I think exciting to all of our fans. We can't wait to see how much activity we have in that. I think
already got one entry, so there you go.
Well, amazingly, now we're going to have other ways of getting us that information, but right now it's on Facebook, and we're making it very handy because we will have the games listed there on Facebook.
Yep. Not asking to pick against the spread, anything like that. Just your winners for those 8 games, 4 college and 4 NFL a week, to have a chance to win a $25 gift certificate to Calvert's. So with that being said, good luck to you. Hope to see a lot of entries and see who the best picker of each week is. So, Coach, looking at week 2 of the NFL season, a lot of good things that we saw, a lot of bad things. So one thing, some of the radio hosts around the country, and they kind of do segments, hey, where were we way right on things? Where were we not so right? One thing that you and I both nailed was, and I didn't expect it to be this good, but the San Francisco 49ers. 41-17 over the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah. I like the 49ers. I like the quarterback. I like their offensive approach to football. Schematically, I think they do a good job. And now I'm going back and tracing a little bit, the head coaches when he was the offensive coordinator, like at Washington, and his approach to a game, schematically game planning and so on. And I think he does a good job. I think he does a very good job of keeping a good mix. He goes downfield, gets after him when the timing seems to be right. Good matchup. He does good. Has a good handle on matchup play. I like everything that he does, and they seem to be coming along a little better defensively as well. They've added a lot of good defensive players. I think San Francisco is a team on the rise. They're an ascending football team.
One thing that you were right on, and one thing that I was way wrong on, the spread in the New England Patriots-Dolphins game. You had the Patriots covering the spread. I went the other way, thinking that there's no way that Miami can be as bad as they showed in Week 1. Well, turns out I was way wrong on that. Miami may be the worst football team we've ever seen, but just a total dominant performance by the Patriots, offensively, defensively, special teams, just a complete shellacking of the Dolphins. Antonio Brown, we kind of nailed the fact that he wouldn't be featured as much in terms of the snap count, but when he was on the field, it was very obvious that the Patriots were trying to get him the football early and often.
Oh yeah, and I think there's rhyme and reason to that. Number one, they had not had much time to work together, and Brady needed the time with him, the experience with him, and believe me, they will make some accommodation for lack of a route, the consistent route running, because there's no way he did it the way Brady wants him to do it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had four incompletions. But you can see the magic that could happen there. And I'm sure, listen, there's a rhyme and reason. They wanted to get him out there, get him some work early, and again, give he and Brady a chance to work a little bit together. The only way to do that is to program it so that you're going to go ahead and get it done. Otherwise, you lose it during the course of the ball game and you don't get it done.
I think I was way wrong here on Philadelphia, at least yesterday. I think I predicted the Eagles to beat the Falcons, so an encouraging bounce-back week for the Falcons there, letting Julio Jones kind of run free. He had a couple of touchdowns. My concern, Coach, Carson Wentz got banged up a little bit. Second week in a row where the Eagles have gotten off to a really slow start in the first half, but Carson Wentz was knocked out of the game. He came back in, tried to get him to lead him back, and at one point the Eagles did take the lead, but ultimately the Falcons were able to respond with that long touchdown pass to Julio Jones. Your takeaway from that one?
Yeah, I did the same thing. I picked the Eagles to win that ball game and thought they would. Give the Falcons credit, but be able to come back like that was a real plus as well. And gosh, they just hit that. Let me tell you, they hit that play absolutely perfectly. You needed an all-out blitz. Everybody now knows it's cover zero, which is common knowledge in the National Football League. But that's all-out coverage, meaning you have nobody. Cover zero, you have nobody back there to defend as a safety. And they hit that perfectly. They got the ball out quickly, so they could avoid the rush, and they got it to the guy who's a tremendous playmaker, and he bit him to the extent that they lost a ball game there. The Eagles lost it. But anyway, good ball game, but Atlanta, give them credit. They won a big one.
Another game that kind of took me by surprise here. I expected the Minnesota Vikings to go into Green Bay and come away with the win. I didn't really see enough from the Packers in Week 1, even though they were able to beat the Bears, especially on the offensive side. But Kirk Cousins, pretty lackluster performance there, 14 of 32, 230 yards. Again, Dalvin Cook had himself a great ball game, both as a runner and a receiver. The Packers still yet to click offensively, but the defense once again really stepping up.
Which is total surprise, because normally with the Packers, it's the defense couldn't hold them, and the offense played well, but it couldn't overcome a terrible defense. It's just the other way around right now. Now they're playing just well enough offensively, but defensively they're winning. I too picked Minnesota to win that football game. I thought the Vikings would win it, especially early in the year like this with a new coach and a new system. But hey, give the Packers credit. And boy, you never count Rodgers out. This is a good example of why you can say what you want about the game, who they're playing, and what the point spread is. But, Joe, you cannot count Rodgers out of the ball game. You cannot count him out winning the ball game, not just being competitive, but winning it.
One thing that I got right was in the AFC South, and you talk about a division, Coach, that is just really average, especially based on what we saw yesterday. You had a 13-12 game between the Texans and the Jaguars, and then the Indianapolis Colts go into Tennessee and are able to beat the Titans by 2. I picked the Colts to win this one. I don't know what it is. Again, not that the Colts necessarily have miles and miles better talent. It's just that the Colts always seem to have the Titans' number, especially for some reason when they play on the road. So the Colts were able to get a 2-point win, big win for them, 1-1 on the season. And the Titans certainly have to be disappointed just based on the start that they had in Week 1.
Yeah, the Titans have played well, but let me tell you, reasons for the Colts. I picked the Colts as well.
Yeah.
One is the coaching. And I have to admit I'm very prejudiced for Frank Reich, the head coach there. He's one of my guys, so I certainly am pulling for him. And I know he's a good football coach, and I know he's a great competitor, maybe not a better competitor than Frank Reich. The other thing that I know about the Colts is they may have the best offensive line in football. May have the best offensive lineman who's only in his second year in Nelson. So the good running game, got a couple of people that can go catch the football, and I like that. So they're going to play consistently, I think. Defensively not great, but consistent. And if you don't do enough to beat them, they're going to make you beat them. They're not going to just give it to you. So Colts are not a beat-em-up type football team, but they're a good football team.
Yeah.
So they and the Titans about in the same boat, and the score turned out that way.
We'll take a quick timeout and come back and react to more that we saw in Week 2 of the NFL season. Also, Monday Night Football tonight, we'll take a look at Jets-Browns, and then later on get into everything that we saw in college football. Where does Florida State go from here? Already hearing talks about buyout for Willie Taggart, and just a busy week. Some really strong games in the college football schedule this coming weekend. A lot to be excited about there. Keep those entries coming. Again, our contest on our Facebook page, ESPN Pensacola. Already seeing a few entries there. Just go to our page, ESPN Pensacola. You'll see the post there pinned to the top, where we are giving away a $25 gift certificate to Calvert's. All you got to do is pick 8 games in college and the NFL, and one final score prediction by way of a tiebreaker. So keep those coming. ESPN Pensacola on Facebook. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K, ESPN Pensacola 1330, 99.1 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. If you're tailgating before the game, don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies.
score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every dollar spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
Pros, start with Lowe's to get more of the brands you trust every day and at the right prices, including the Little Giant King Combo Ladder, the world's first step, extension, and leaning ladder for only $159. And find the supplies you use most and save by buying in bulk, like 20% off in-stock GAF or Owens Corning shingles when you purchase by the pallet. Order at lowesforpros.com and have your order delivered or pick up in store. Our dedicated pro loaders will load you up and get you back to the job site where you're needed most. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Selection varies by location, U.S. only.
Golic and Wingo.
A different host from ESPN Radio from around the country is going to make their pick in our Survivor pool.
This is Davis Allen from ESPN Pensacola, and my pick for the Golic and Wingo Survivor pool is Kansas City over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That might be the toughest game on the board week 1, and Pensacola is swinging with Hall of Famer Patrick Mahomes.
5 to 9 every weekday morning. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola, 1330.
ESPN Pensacola, 1330, 99.1 FM. Happy Monday. Reacting to everything from around the NFL and college football weekends. A lot more to get to today. The number, if you want to weigh in, 623-1330. And before we get rolling, just again want to remind you our weekly contest that we're going to be doing. Our good friends at Calvert's giving us gift certificates to give away to you guys. Weekly Pick'em contest. It's on our Facebook page, pinned post on ESPN Pensacola. Just read through there, and you'll see 8 games that you can pick, and the winner will be announced next Monday.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun, and we're going to have a lot of participation on this, I'm sure. Listen, this Calvert's is, if you haven't been there, it's a new restaurant out on Scenic Highway, just beyond Giorgio's out there, just on the curve there, east Cervantes,
Yep.
as it turns into Scenic Highway. But, gosh, all the TVs they have out there. He has, by the way, has NFL ticket, Joe, which means that if you've got a certain NFL game you want to see, you can see any NFL game that's on. Plus, I'm sure the colleges, too, they'll have all the different
Rule number 1 for me, Coach, if I'm going anywhere out to eat on Sunday afternoon, it has to have Sunday ticket.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about if the food's good or not. But I'm sure. So Calvert's checking both boxes there.
Yeah, you bet. The food is excellent. I know quite a few people who have eaten there, and it's just wonderful service. It's great, and all the amenities. So this will be something to look forward to. Win it and go out and try it anyway. Go out and have a bite.
Absolutely. As we continue looking through all of the games here, just recapping and overreacting to everything that we saw here. The New York Giants dropped to 0-2. Buffalo, I believe I saw this stat on CBS during the broadcast yesterday, Coach. For the first time in franchise history, the Buffalo Bills opened a season 2-0 while winning both games on the road. So that's kind of an interesting nugget there. But Buffalo able to pull off the New York sweep of the Jets.
Yeah. 2 weeks in a row they played at the Meadowlands Stadium there.
Now I realize that it's not that long of a trip, but in instances where a team like that may stay in the same city back-to-back weeks, would they just stay out in New York for the duration of the week, or would they just go back to Buffalo?
No. My goodness, you just jump back.
Hop in a plane? Yeah.
Hop on a plane, you're back in Buffalo in 30 minutes and back with your own bed and your own facility and so on. But anyway, listen, surprising. The Buffalo Bills are a surprising football team at this point. Yeah. Now they're doing what it takes to win. And I'll tell you this, their quarterback, who we've had some hesitation on, is growing. He's growing by leaps and bounds right now. And the other thing they're doing is they're allowing him to use his natural ability as a runner, Joe. Now, I'm not sure how long that can last, because the injury bug pops up there. But he's a big, strong kid who can he adds another dimension there. Akin to some of the other things we've seen in the league. A surprise on the other side, going the other way. I think the Bears have got some real problems there that they're going to have to iron out. And Trubisky, what have we said about Trubisky all along? Not sure of the guy, just not sure. He tends to be when you watch his footwork is atrocious. Now, what they're doing to make him a better quarterback from the standpoint of technique and so on, I don't know. But it's not working. It is not working. And I think part of that is because he's unsure of where he's going with the football. And he's overly concerned about the rush because his footwork is terrible. And usually that's the first thing that they're concerned about. They're looking at the rush instead of downfield. So I don't know. They've got they got a great defense, but I don't know whether they're going to be able to pull it off.
And looking at that Bears Broncos game, it was another mixed bag for Mitch Trubisky. Now, kudos to him in that he was able to get them in position for the game-winning field goal, so the Bears improved to 1-1. As far as whether or not the Bears are a legitimate Super Bowl contender, if you would have asked me before the season, I would have said, sure. But after week 2, the offense just looks so sporadic, and this was an area, even though the Bears have such a tremendous defense, even with the loss of Vic Fangio, they're doing what they're supposed to do. I don't think anybody expected the Bears to be this bad offensively for 2 weeks.
Well, no, but as we piece this division together early on,
that was my bad.
We said this division. We said this is one of the toughest divisions, and a lot of people had the Bears a lot higher. They won it last year. I had them third in the division. I had Minnesota, Green Bay, Bears, and Detroit last in the division. I still feel that way. I don't think the Bears are going to be able to overcome Green Bay or Minnesota, and they're going to be lucky if they listen. They better get their act together, or they may be lucky to end up third.
One of the better games this coming Sunday will feature a pair of 2-0 teams. The Baltimore Ravens getting the win over the Arizona Cardinals, 23-17. It was another very good performance by Lamar Jackson. Again, efficient through the air, got over 100 yards on the ground, threw for a couple of touchdowns. And, Coach, a lot to like there. Yes, it is the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know that defensively the challenge improves that much with the Kansas City defense, a defense that you have a lot of questions about. But it's going to be an opportunity to hopefully see Lamar Jackson in kind of a shootout type situation going against Patrick Mahomes, a team that even without Tyreek Hill, there is no slowing down the amount of speed that they have right now.
No question about it, and they're on high-octane offense, no question about it. Now, as far as Baltimore is concerned, let's temper, everything with the fact that they played Miami, the Miami Dolphins, and then the Cardinals. So it's not like they've played two legitimate, tough NFL defenses. Far from it. So we got to see what's everything was going great last year. If you remember, until they got into the playoffs, and bang, the Chargers, I think, just shut them down.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. I agree with what you said about the Kansas City defense. I think they have some problems there. If they do get them straightened out with that offense, it's going to be difficult to hold them down.
And just a couple other games that we haven't hit yet. We both picked the Chargers to get the job done in Detroit, and the Lions come away with the victory there, 13-10. And the Chargers. This is just something that they do every single year, it seems. They always look like they're world beaters towards the end of the season, and maybe in terms of playoff positioning, they don't necessarily get as high a seed as they would like, and it's kind of because of games like this. They always seem to do this. I did not expect the Chargers to go in and only put up 10 points on Detroit, although Matt Patricia is a defensive guy, but it's just proof that the NFL, for as much as we react to what we see on a week-to-week basis, it is a week-to-week league, and you just can't go by off of what you saw the week before.
You're exactly right. And listen, Detroit, we don't think that Detroit, because we picked them fourth in that division, doesn't mean they're a good football team. I mean, they're a bad football team. They're a good football team. But in that division with those four teams, you can be fourth in that division and be better than half the other teams in the league. Now, I like you, picked the Chargers, and I was a little surprised at the final score there. Certainly, I think Patricia will do a better and better job with them defensively as they go along, and that's what people are going to have to watch. Is if you can play with that defense, if you can move the ball and score points, as you got a team like the Chargers who can score against most anybody, and they end up with 10 points. That beware other teams when you go in there, because that could very well happen also.
I'm trying to figure out, Coach, if there is an 0-2 team in the league right now that I would say, okay, this is the best of the 0-2 teams, or a team out there that you may say, hey, even if they're 0-2, that they have a chance to make some noise. And for me, I'm looking at Washington. Tough to open the season against Philadelphia and then Dallas in back-to-back weeks. They lose 31-21. The Cowboys did what they were supposed to do offensively. Another really efficient showing from Dak Prescott. Ezekiel Elliott gets over 100 yards. Case Keenum, though, didn't look too bad on his own. Adrian Peterson, the running game, wasn't able to really get going there, but he's got a good group of receivers and pass-catching type backs there that he can spread around the ball to. But the Redskins at 0-2 doesn't really surprise me because of who they've played, but what has surprised me is how tough they've played the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Yeah. I think the Redskins they're in that middle group, and that's the best way we can put it. They're not certainly wouldn't be considered a football team with a tremendous amount of talent. They're going to out-talent a lot of people. No. Do they have enough talent to hang in there with you? Yeah. Do they have enough talent if you've got a poor football team or you're not playing well? Do they have enough talent to beat you on that day? Yes. And that's pretty much what NFL football means, Joe. Listen, they could be playing the Patriots tomorrow, and if the Patriots weren't on their game and playing well, Washington could beat them, very easily beat them. So that's the type of football team they have. Now, if all is even and everybody plays their best, a more talented football team who doesn't make a lot of mistakes is going to beat them. And that's what happened this week, what happened the week before. But they're not a bad football team. You're right.
And finally, Coach, I really don't know what to make of Houston after the first couple of weeks. They look so good offensively, and I know the Jaguars have a good defense, but home opener, 13 points against the Jaguars. Gardner Minshew almost got the job done for the Jaguars there to pick up their first win of the season, but really underwhelming game here for the Texans to only come away with a 13-12 win, but it is a win, and depending on one or two plays the week before, the Texans could be 2-0, but as it is, 1-1. But I still don't really know what to make of Houston.
That's a good point. I'm not sure I do either, except for they could easily be 0-2. Could easily be 2-0.
2-0, 0-2.
So, but they're not hitting on all cylinders. Let's put it that way. There's no way that football team should be having to scratch for 10 points to put 10, 12, 13 points on the board. They should be a consistent 20, 21 point football team per week, I think, versus anybody. They have that type of talent. They're not getting it done. The one good thing you could say is they are playing consistently good defense. They're playing well over there. And absent their defensive play right now, they would be 0-2 without any doubt.
And finally, those are all the games that happened yesterday. We'll quickly take a look at the Jets and the Browns. This probably would have looked like a lot better matchup on paper. Being in New York, the Browns coming in limping a bit, although I fully expect a rebound here from the Browns. But the New York Jets are having to do without Sam Darnold, who has been kind of a hot, cold, Jekyll and Hyde type quarterback in the first year. He finished the season really strong. Last week didn't do a whole lot through the air, but now the Jets are without Sam Darnold. It'll be Trevor Siemian, who is the starting quarterback for the Jets coming into tonight. And Coach, the Browns are going to be favored tonight, even though they're on the road. The line is 6.5 points in favor of the Browns. How do you see this one shaking out?
Well, quite frankly, I think the Browns should be in a position to. I think the Browns should win this football game. Now, this game is in Cleveland, right?
It's in New York.
Oh, it's in New York?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But still, they should win this ball game. Now, whether they'll cover 6.5 points, I don't know. I guess you'd have to. I think I would have to go with Cleveland winning and covering here, because I think they are going to pop loose tonight, play much better. My gosh, how can they make any more mistakes than they made?
Yeah.
I don't think they'll turn the ball over. He's going to be extremely cautious about turning the ball over, and I think they play well. I don't think the Jets are in a position yet to go out, reach out, and grab a football game, and they don't have more talent than the Cleveland Browns have at this point.
Well, and especially in terms of the talent that they do have, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Quinnen Williams and C.J. Mosley, two outstanding defensive linemen and a linebacker formerly from Alabama, already ruled out tonight.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell had the shoulder MRI. It came back clean, so I'm anticipating a lot of Le'Veon Bell tonight. Trevor Siemian's going to need him in terms of checkoffs, and I think you're going to see a lot of short to intermediate passes. Just hope to make it a close game in the fourth quarter. But Coach, I see it like you do. There's no reason why the Browns shouldn't cover this game, and I think there's added incentive, number one, just to try to put the bad taste out of your mouth from a week ago, number two. But
exactly.
There's an opportunity here where you hate to call a week 2 game a must win, but in a division that has for so long been dominated by the Steelers, and to see them kind of for all intents and purposes out of the mix in terms of Super Bowl contention, this is really an opportunity to kind of get to one-on-one, stay a game behind of the Ravens, but really emerge as the favorite that we all thought they would be heading into the season.
Yeah, they've got so much going for them, plus the fact that Cincinnati's going to be Cincinnati. They may be a little better than they have been, but they'll be quite a bit better than they have been, but still not good enough. And so it's an ideal situation for Cleveland. I think they have to know that. And everything you've talked about is exactly the case. I think the incentive for Cleveland is going to be overwhelming tonight. Monday Night Football and what they have to prove and come back and get that bad taste out of their mouth.
So Monday Night Football, the Browns traveling to East Rutherford to take on the Jets, a pair of 0-1 teams. We'll looking at make our final score prediction a bit later on. We'll take a timeout, coming back, a lot to get to in terms of college football. A lot news and notes and a recap of the top games and looking ahead to what should be a great Saturday. A couple of headline games featuring SEC teams. Stick around. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K, ESPN Pensacola, 1330, 99.1 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every dollar spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Do you think all premium fuels are the same? Well, your engine doesn't. New Shell V-Power Nitro Plus helps keep your engine running like new because it's engineered to defend against 4 main engine threats: gunk, wear, corrosion, and friction. So next time, choose Shell's most advanced fuel ever. It's fuel for thought. In engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline.
All right, it's time for some straight talk. You wouldn't pay $100 for seats to a baseball game where you can get the same seats for $50. So why pay more on your wireless when you can get the same 4G LTE networks for up to half the cost? For $45 a month, get our unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data from Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Talk football with Coach K, live every weekday from noon until 1 right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330, 99.1 FM. Introducing this week a Pick'em contest. If you want to join in on the fun, simply go to our ESPN Pensacola Facebook page. You will see a pinned post, meaning that it is at the very top of the page there. And you can read all the fine details there. But we're just simply asking you to pick 8 games. 4 college, 4 NFL, one of which has a score prediction to eliminate any ties. So we've already had multiple entries on that. Get them in by Friday at 6 o'clock, and you'll be entered for a chance to win a $25 gift certificate to Calvert's in the Heights. Joe Ford and Coach K recapping everything that we saw from a busy week 2 of the NFL and turning our attention to college. In a moment, Jonah's on the line. He wanted to talk about something that that stood out to him in the NFL weekend. Jonah, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are y'all doing after this great weekend?
Doing well,
good,
Jonah.
Good.
Well, first off, I want to say, is there any way that I can do the pick'em but I don't have social media. Is there an email that I could submit it to?
We will have one by Wednesday, an email.
Yeah, we'll get that set up, and we'll let you know.
Okay, sounds good. And second, that Calvert's place that is sponsoring y'all, fantastic people. My brother has been dating one of the owner's daughters for about 3 years now. All the stuff y'all are talking about, listeners, it is not just a hype. It is a fantastic place and great people that go there. But I wanted to comment on the Gardner Minshew kid. As a Dallas Cowboys fan, y'all remember Dak Prescott coming in for an injured Tony Romo. I'm not saying this is the same thing because I believe they went on a 13-3 record that year. This Gardner Minshew kid has a lot of spunk to him, and he seems like he has a pretty good arm to go back with it. Might I add that mustache adds a lot of character on top of that as
Absolutely.
well. I wanted to see if y'all think that if it's a Dak Prescott situation or if this is more of a Blaine Gabbert situation or a Luke McCown where everybody just keeps going around dreaming.
Well, I think this is a Minshew situation. Totally different from the three that you're talking about there, Jonah. I am intrigued by this kid. I really am. I'm intrigued by what he did at Washington State. Think about what this kid did in 1 year up there at Washington State. I mean, he just lit the whole country up. And how many people could do that? Especially when he was, Saban was trying to get him to come to Alabama as a backup. And he ended up going up to Washington State. Thank goodness he did for his sake. And look at him now. I think he's doing a great job. The big controversy about that ball game was whether they should have run the big back Ponto up in there for the 2 points, or whether they should have just left it up to Minshew, let him have the ball in his hands on that 2-point conversion. And I would agree with that, but knowing the head coach there, his mindset was there's no way he was not going to put everything on that offensive line and a big back.
Awesome. Joe, did you have any thoughts as well?
Yeah, I would just add, Jonah, that for me it's kind of a wait and see, just like it is for the Jaguars. Now, I know that after Week 1, I was kind of listening and heard folks like Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport say that the Jaguars saw enough out of Gardner Minshew that they were not going to kind of seek a replacement as far as like a starting quarterback is concerned. I know they traded for Josh Dobbs to serve as the backup. For me right now, I mean, yeah, if he's winning football games and the Jaguars are able to kind of go on a bit of a run, it would make sense for me to kind of keep him as the starting quarterback as long as you're winning football games. But for right now, I think that the Jaguars have too much money and committed to Nick Foles. So if the Jaguars are anywhere around 500 or maybe a game or two under, I think it probably goes back to Nick Foles. But just because of the money that they have committed to Nick Foles and the long-term deal that he signed. But, I mean, they could certainly feel good about themselves having a capable backup quarterback. So that's where I would lean for right now.
But I think Minshew could be something special, too. So you got to give him that opportunity after what he did.
Sure.
So, well, Jonah, we appreciate your calling, and I appreciate your words on that Calvert's restaurant. It is something special. Food's great, and go out there and enjoy it for people. It's a good place.
Yes, sir. As always, I appreciate y'all's insight. Y'all have a safe week.
All right, you too. Jonah, thank you for the call. Again, the number 623-1330 if you want to weigh in. Switching gears and looking at college football, and Coach had some pretty interesting storylines come out of it. Jalen Hurts continues to look great. Oklahoma pounding UCLA 48-14. Joe Burrow, he put up another outstanding stat line there, and interestingly enough, he has now kind of surpassed Trevor Lawrence in terms of Vegas odds to win the Heisman. So that was kind of interesting there. Also, Burrow getting a lot of love from NFL scouts early on. Certainly have to wait and see there. Let's start with Florida and Kentucky. This one could have gone either way. Maybe Kentucky's coming out of this one saying that we should have won. I mean, they had a potential game-winning field goal. You just can't miss in that spot. Hashtag college kicker strikes again. But Florida able to get the job done 29-21. Again, nothing about what I've seen from Florida this year tells me they're a top 10 football team, but they were able to kind of rise over the adversity of losing Felipe Franks and get the job done.
Yeah, and listen, I've liked this Trask kid for 2 years in spring. When you see him play in the spring game, now some people don't think that accounts for much, but I think the kid's really a good quarterback. Certainly throwing the football. He's a big kid too. You know, I think it's interesting. Kentucky, for all intents and purposes, Kentucky lost this football game rather than Florida winning it.
I would agree with that.
Now, when they had 4th and 1, they're at about midfield, and he didn't punt the ball down, knowing that a different quarterback, a young quarterback, was going to come in who had not played before, and you had a chance to pin Florida down deep in their own territory. You got a much better chance of something drastic, disastrous happening, like an interception, a fumble, 3 and out, a quick 3 and out. But he went for the 4th down, and that was the play of the game when Florida stopped him on 4th down there and took over the ball at midfield. With that's his first entry into the football game, and they come in with a tremendous amount of renewed momentum and exuberance, and they go down and score. I think that one, and of course the missed field goal. But my goodness, Stoops is a good coach, but I can't imagine him making that. I'm sure he's regretting it today.
Quickly, Coach, before we take our final time out of the afternoon, Florida State. I thought that it was an encouraging performance in the standpoint that, for the first 2 weeks we've had such a Jekyll and Hyde look in terms of the first half versus the second half. I have a lot of questions, which, we'll get to as the week goes on, just about, play calling, game management, especially towards the end there. I don't know if you had a chance to see the end of that game, where Florida State, had a chance to kind of go in for the tie, but Virginia gets the job done, 31-24. Willie Taggart again, the questions and just the calls for him to be bought out of his contract just continue to get louder and louder. But Florida State now comes back home to take on Louisville this weekend. Did you get a chance to see much of that game, or just bits and pieces of that? No,
to be honest, I did not get a chance to see much of it. I saw some of the replay. Some of the highlights of it, or lowlights, and that's about it. Now, they have some tremendous team problems. There's no doubt in my mind about that. So I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah.
I don't want to comment specifically on something I didn't see.
Sure. Florida State, by the way, talking about Florida State, we do have every Wednesday from 1 to 2 Tomahawk Talk, myself and Terry Gross in studio. Terry, of course, a lifelong Seminole ever since he went to college there, and so he's been through it all and has a lot of thoughts and opinions on the game. And this coming Wednesday, we'll be joined by Charlie Ward, of course, former Heisman Trophy winner for Florida State. So he'll be joining the program again. That's this Wednesday from 1 to 2. Talk SEC coming back. Alabama, how we think they looked as they put away South Carolina. Also anything to slow down Clemson from running the table in the ACC. We'll talk about that next. It's Talk Football with Coach K, ESPN Pensacola 1330, 99.1 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Highway 29 in Car City.
Dude, it's game day and I'm fired up that football is back.
I know, but I'm bummed they don't show my favorite team on TV around here.
All right, well, what about that place Calvert's? They're a really cool English pub-style restaurant and they have a really good drink menu.
Yeah, but what about the game?
Don't worry, they have the NFL Sunday ticket and plenty of TVs, so we can watch any game that we want.
Ooh, I just looked at the menu and that Abbey Road burger is calling my name.
Calvert's in the Heights Restaurant and Bar, 3102 East Urbana Street, calvertsintheheights.com.
If you're a small business owner, there's no better place to find the impact hire to help your business than LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs takes the time to learn more about who you're looking for and then recommends qualified candidates from their community of engaged and career-minded people, candidates who you likely won't be able to reach anywhere else. The truth is, over 70% of the U.S. workforce is on LinkedIn, and posting your job on LinkedIn gives you the best chance of finding and starting a conversation with your next star recruit. It's no surprise a new hire is made every 8 seconds using LinkedIn. So build your winning team by posting a job on LinkedIn and visit linkedin.com/sports to get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports for $50 off your first job post. linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Talk football every day with Pensacola's own Coach K.
The key on offense is going to be whether Franks can come back and duplicate what he did in the last 4 games.
Every weekday, noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1.
ESPN Pensacola is your home to UWF Argos football. Catch every game, home or away, on Pensacola's home for local sports. ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
ESPN Pensacola 1330, 99.1 FM. Talk football with Coach K on a Monday. Live every weekday from noon to 1. You can also follow us on Facebook, ESPN Pensacola. If you go on ESPN Pensacola, you will see that we are starting a weekly Pick'em contest. Our good friends at Calvert's donating some gift certificates, $25 gift certificate up for grabs this week. Like us on Facebook and comment on the pinned post. You will see 8 games, 4 college, 4 NFL games to pick. And make your picks and be entered to win a $25 gift certificate to Calvert's. Coach, you again, we not much more needs to be said about Joe Burrow. As I mentioned, he has now leaped into third in terms of the Heisman odds. The latest Heisman odds have Tua 2-1 favorite, followed by Jalen Hurts at 3-1, and then Joe Burrow checking in at 4-1. He leaps over Trevor Lawrence, now sitting at 15-2. But just another clinical performance against a team that he should carve up, but he did carve up, and he's so consistent.
I'll tell you what this represents. Really, they're looking ahead to Burrow's playing the way he's playing, and he's going to be playing some top-notch competition.
Yeah.
Okay, he's got Texas A&M. He's got Alabama. He's
Auburn.
got Florida, Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
all of those teams, if he continues to perform against that competition, there's no way that Lawrence or any of these others other than Tua are going to have a chance to perform against the same level of competition, including Oklahoma. Okay, so that's really one of the how do we account for what he's going to face in the way of competition.
And you look at LSU, I mean, there's so much hype around him right now, rightfully so. And you just have to be excited. You're an SEC fan, and the SEC on CBS is back. You had Alabama, South Carolina, which we'll certainly get into more as the week goes on. The Alabama show is coming up next with Chad Berlante. But LSU, in a matter of a month span, they've got Florida, they've got Auburn, they have Alabama. Texas A&M a little bit later on down the line, but 3 out of 4 week stretch there in October, late October into November, where it's going to make or break their season, and that's crunch time in the SEC, and certainly looking forward to that, Coach. Really quickly before we get out of here today, Alabama offensively, they're nothing more needs to be said, but defensively showing some cracks in the armor, so to speak, against South Carolina over the weekend.
Yeah, I think that's evident, but I do think they're awfully young. To get those two linebackers hurt with the attrition that they already had, and then the injuries, they're exceptionally young. They'll get much better game by game.
Tide Talk coming up at the top of the hour. That'll do it for us on a Monday. We'll be back on Tuesday to continue our discussion. Talk football with Coach K.
Football season has arrived, and ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM is where the action is. Bringing your high school football every Friday night, UWF football on Saturdays, and the NFL on Sundays.